So my name is Kelly Scott Story, and I will be taking you on a live walkthrough and demo of the app for the next few minutes. So I'm just going to stop sharing my video. Perfect. Okay, so this screen is our website, the iHEALapp.ca. If you go to the bottom, we're going to go into the app through the web app version. So I'm just going to click on the web app version. You're going to come to a login screen where if you've already created a user password, you can insert it here. We're going to create a new account. So at the bottom, create an account. The app is going to ask you to select your language of preference, English or French. I'm going to choose English for today. It's going to ask you to select your user type for yourself, to help a family member or friend, as a service provider, or for general use only. This information is just to help us improve the app by understanding different types of user groups that are accessing the app. It's not for any other purposes. So I'm just going to click for yourself and go into next. So next, select your province or territory, and that is so that the resources that are embedded in the app can be tailored to your specific area. So if you are living in Newfoundland, you're not receiving resources suggested to you from out in BC. So I'm going to choose centrally today. Even though I'm located in New Brunswick, I'm going to choose Ontario for today, and next. So the first screen here is a welcome message with supportive messaging on what the app is for, messaging around privacy and use. So you can click through the app. It's a personalized app for women's health, safety, and well-being. It's designed for and by Canadian women, and the information you provide is private and confidential. So now it's going to ask you to create your own password and user word. So I am just going to create one Daffy Duck, and I am going to want to make up a password. The username and password is only known to the user and must be remembered as it's not stored. So we do not want to collect any personal identifiers. We do not want to collect that information so that the app can remain confidential and anonymous. We want women to be confident in that. So the password should be 8 or more characters long. I acknowledge the terms and conditions. I can open up the terms and conditions here to read, and then I click next. So the next section of the app, and again, this is all called onboarding. So this is only seen initially when you enter into the app and register for the app, and then otherwise it's going to take you directly to the homepage when you put in your username and password from here on out. So just some messaging that the app is not for emergencies. In emergency, you need to access more appropriate services. If someone forces you to unlock the app, a woman can enter in 1234 as the password, and it will open up to a safe nondescript page. Right now, it's the weather page. Please remember your username and your password as it's not stored in the app. And again, that's to protect women's confidentiality and anonymity. So to start the app. Okay, so this is the home page of the app. This is what we call the home screen. You will note up in the top corner, there's a little yellow flashing light, blinking light. This only shows initially, and again, it's part of the onboarding service. So if you click on the flashing yellow light, it will just say, here's your account. You can reset your password or delete your information here. It's going to show you where the home page is down at the bottom. You can save topics and resources here, which I will show you as I walk you through the app. And to leave quickly, there's a quick exit button at the bottom that will be available on every single screen that you can just click, and it will take you to a weather page. Okay, so this is the home page. I'm now going to switch over to another version here that I have already saved some information in. So the first thing you will notice is that it is organized into the 6 colored tiles or areas. We call them pillars or components. These are the areas that we know are important to women and that women typically address when they are in an abusive relationship, leaving, or have left an abusive relationship. So areas that are important to women are her safety, her basic needs, health and well-being, connecting safely, claiming your power, and family. Up at the top, you will see that there is a quote of the day. This these quotes have been taken from women survivors of intimate partner violence, as well as from service providers and some of our qualitative research. So that quote changes daily, and it's just a supportive, positive message. You will see a little heart icon next to the quote, and when I click on that, it means I can actually save that quote. So if there's a particular quote that has meaning to me or that I like, I can save it. So the quote of the day, then if you go down to the scroll to the bottom, you can find a resource or a service. We have pinned some of the most pertinent ones just to the homepage for women to see always, but then you can search. So for example, if I was to search housing, remember I am in Ontario, if I'm to search housing, affordable housing in Ontario comes up, Canadian mortgage and housing, and so forth, Ontario Aboriginal housing. And I can save different ones of these resources and pin them, and they will show up in the saved resource here at the bottom. So I have already saved this housing one, and I've already saved the Ontario Aboriginal housing one for later. Okay, so navigating through the app. So women choose an area of where they want to start first. You will notice that there's no predetermined start here, go here. It is truly woman-led. So a woman can choose what tile or what area maybe she wants to start in, or that meets her needs the most. So starting just at the top, I'm going to go into safety. You will notice that each of these pillars or areas are organized in the same way for ease of navigation and repetition. And they're also a distinct color, so you know which pillar you're in. So anytime things are this blue, you know you are in basic needs: housing, food, money, security, and so forth. So going into the safety tile first, again, see how the background is all this similar aqua color. It starts off with a supportive messaging, acknowledging that everyone deserves to feel safe in their relationships, but abuse robs women of feelings of that safety. Some definition of what abuse is, and then each of the pillars start with this reflective, or what we call a warm-up activity. So this one's called How's Your Safety? And it's about 1 to 2 minutes. It's a quiz to help orientate the women to this pillar. So if you go through, it tells you a little bit about what the questions are. Think about your sense of safety with your current and or ex-partner and answer these questions. So there's there's 5 questions in this particular warm-up activity. So how often do you feel afraid of your partner or ex-partner? Some of the time. How often do you worry about being physically or sexually harmed by them? Some of the time. How often do you try to avoid making your ex-partner or partner angry? Most of the time. How often do you feel owned and controlled by your ex-partner? Most of the time. And how often does your partner or ex-partner make you feel worried, uncomfortable, or unsafe in other ways? Most of the time. At the end of the warm-up activity, there is a tailored message that has an algorithm in the back that has been designed based on how the woman has answered the question. So feeling unsafe in some parts of your relationship seems to be a regular part of your life. Everyone deserves to feel safe. And then it points towards some of the activities or information topics within the safety pillar. So for this one is suggesting the danger assessment and explore the topics to learn about safety actions. I can redo this little quiz at different times, or I can just hit finish and it's going to take me back to the safety pillar. When I scroll down, there's going to be a list of topics here. And so these are all topics related to the pillar of safety. There will be topics with activities. So if you look at the right-hand side, there's the word activity next to ones that there's an activity embedded in, or ones that are just for information only. So for example, the danger assessment is the first activity. Many of you will be very familiar with the danger assessment developed by Dr. Jackie Campbell. Dr. Campbell's a colleague of ours, and we have permission to use the danger assessment within the app, as well as her scoring algorithm. So if you click on the danger assessment, you will see that it there's a lot of people on the app right now, so it's loading a little bit slower than usual. That will be updated within the next few days. So with the danger assessments, introduction to the danger assessment, this one's specific for a male partner, what to expect by going through the danger assessment, and then it goes through each of the questions. And again, it's just loading a little bit slowly today. I'm not going to go through all 19 questions, but just to say at the end, it will present you with a tailored message based on your level of risk or the level of risk the woman has put in. And that's really important, as women often underestimate her risk. It also has some suggestions around actions in the moment, depending on her risk, if it's severe risk, immediate risk, and so forth. So back down to some topics. So for information topics, there's also a power control activity, safety actions checklist, which is helpful in working with women. Sometimes service providers like to go through the safety action checklist to get a sense of what women have tried, what they would like to try, what they would like more information on. So if I look at information topics, for example, violence against women's services, I can click on this and it will load some of the violence against women's services in the area. Also some information about what is violence against women's services. What are these services? What should I expect if I call? What are the parameters around these services, shelters, and so forth? Things to consider: how can I find violence services in my area? So these are called accordion features. So I can click on it and receive a little bit more information around how to find violence services in my area. If I go down below, the resources now that are pinned are specific to this topic. So the resources on the home page were general resources to access. Now the resources in each of these topic areas are specific to what the topic is. So if I go back to the home page, I will move on to health and well-being pillar. So focus on health is extremely important and is often not dealt with in favor of crisis situations. So this page is set up the very same way as safety. There's supportive messaging that comes in, orientation to the app. There's a small little warm-up quiz around how is your health to help women start to reflect on her health and how she defines health. And then when you scroll down, there are topic areas, some with activities. Again, look at the right-hand side for activities. One is called Assess Your Health. And so that helps women go through and assess her current symptoms and take stock of her health and well-being. In the topic areas, there are some for information. For example, chronic pain. Chronic pain is a huge issue many women face. And so this starts off with supportive messaging around the link between abuse and chronic pain. And then you can go down to, again, these accordion type of features. What can you do about the chronic pain? And which will give you some tips and tricks around how to manage some of the chronic pain or things to think about. And then a resource specific to chronic pain, which is Live Plan B website. If I go back out, going into basics, so the basics pillar or area acknowledges that women need to have the essentials in life to thrive. So need to have basics met: housing, food, childcare, stable source of income, access to health care, and so forth. So set up the same. The background's blue. So how are you doing with your basic needs is a nice warm-up reflective activity to set the tone of how she feels she is doing in being able to meet her basic needs. The topic areas, as you can see, there's quite a few. Increased control over finances, relationships, legal options, food and supply, housing, and so forth. So if I go into the housing one, you will see some of the resources I showed you at the very beginning when I clicked on housing as one of the options. So just talking a little bit about what housing is, how to find housing, different types. So second stage housing, public housing, private rental. These are accordion, and then some resources related to housing. If I hit the back button up here, I can go back into legal options and go through and read about what are some of the legal options or things I need to consider if I'm considering a legal route. So applying for a peace bond, Canadian Council for Refugees, and so forth. So Family Court and Beyond Guide from Luke's Place. And so if there's something of interest to me, I can click on these websites now, or I can save them in a save feature that will then allow me to go into my save feature in a few minutes and see these. So if I go back to my home page, Connecting Safely, which is the purple pillar, really focuses on supporting the woman to build positive relationships with others, including intimate relationships, social relationships, and relationships with service providers. So a little message about what Connecting Safely is about. Take a moment to take stock of your social and support networks, a little warm-up activity, and then topics that are connected to connecting safely. In here, there's a healthy partner relationship quiz that is really quite popular. It identifies red flags and provides a tailored message around any red flags that you are identifying when answering the questions for a new or existing partner relationship. How and when to share your story is really about more information. Guidance on how and when to share your story, what's appropriate from a trauma, violence informed lens, and really encouraging women to always ask herself, what do I need to share? What do I want to share? And what do I hope to get out of this sharing? In order to help protect herself, women often overshare, putting themselves at risk because they're wanting to convince someone of the legitimacy of their experiences. So this is a bit of a caution of how to protect yourself, and then some resources. So claiming your power is support for her, taking care of her needs, herself, and pointing towards future goals. Often women experiencing violence are not able to prioritize themselves. And so this section of the app really focuses on that. Taking care of yourself is part of healing from abuse and planning for your future. So how are you doing taking care of yourself is a reflective warm-up activity to get her situated within this pillar. And then the topics include caring for yourself, managing and reducing stress, moving your body, grounding activities, personal goals and dreams, and spirituality. So managing and reducing stress, I might choose that one, go in and read some tips and tricks around how to manage stress, pay attention to your body. Again, these are all accordion type of features, how to move your body, and then some helpful resources. If I go back, grounding activities actually have some trauma violence informed type of videos that we have embedded and created in here that are really well done and that women enjoy. Go back to the home page and going into family. So family is safe and healthy family experiences, acknowledging that family can bring you strength, but also can bring you great stress and distress. So family is who you say they are and can be anyone. So again, situates around how abuse and violence can change your family in important ways and how it impacts your family. A little warm-up activity around what is your experience of family, and then topics related to family. So there's a shaping your family activity focused on what's important to you in family. Separation and divorce is another topic that is quite popular and provides some guidance around how to engage in separation and divorce. So there's legal issues to consider, support of family changes, tips specific for Indigenous women, issues for newcomer women in the topic of separation and divorce. And so there's important messaging that goes with that. And then again, the resources are specific to this topic area of separation and divorce. So if I go back out to the home page, those are just a really high level highlight of what is in each pillar. As you can see, there's a number of topic areas in there. So hopefully there's something to meet all women's needs. At the bottom, there's the save feature. So the great thing about this app is that as women use it and interact with it, it becomes more specific and tailored to her needs based on how she's interacting with it. So if I go into the saved feature, I can go into my saved quotes, which I have saved 2 quotes over the last couple of days that I thought were particularly motivating, and I really liked how they were worded. If I go into resources, you will see at the beginning I had saved the Ontario Aboriginal Housing resource and the Affordable Housing resource, so they're saved there so that I don't have to go all the way back through the app to find things that I saw and that I may have wanted to save and pull out. So it streamlines it and makes it more specific to me. So I can click on all these resources and they're right in my save page. Topics, there's a few topics that I wanted to go back to. So the grounding activities, I wanted to watch those videos. And so they're saved right here so I don't have to navigate through the whole app. And this feature is actually a brand new feature, and it is saving the results. So the danger assessment I had done back on April 29th, and my results are here. Here's my score. My score is 26. Some tailored messaging that came as a result of how I answered the questions in the danger assessment. And so what this is useful for is service providers and women have both told us that they like to track their score on the danger assessment over time. And so every time I do the danger assessment, it will save it here with the date and with the score so that that tracking is available to me to watch any change over time. Similar with the safety actions, I can pull this here, look at the safety actions that I said I was interested in, as well as the messaging so that I can go back and do a check-in. This is a great feature for service providers as well to check in what is working, what isn't working. And then also my health. I had said these are the things, these are my current health issues and the messaging that came with it, but I can check back in or use this to sit with a service provider or a healthcare provider as a topic of discussion, or these are the areas that I'm struggling with my health in at this point in time. And it timestamps them, which is great for those tracking purposes. I will also say that we worked with Stitch Media to develop a content management system. So we have full control over the content updates. We can fix links. We can add or remove resources as appropriate. We have about 500 resources right now embedded into the app, and our team does the work to vet these resources. We have a team that makes sure the links are working and that the resources are appropriate, and to make sure that they're still active. I will say that we have made a decision, or we try to prioritize national and provincial and territorial level resources, and that is simply because of stability. With over 500 resources embedded in the app, we want to make sure that the user has access to stable resources. There's nothing worse than clicking on a resource and the link is broken or the service is no longer in service. So we have really rolled it up to those more stable provincial, territorial, and national type of resources, acknowledging that they often know how to get women to grassroots resources within specific communities. And so if there are resources that you see that you think would be of benefit to adding to the app, please just contact us through the website. There's a contact us feature, and you can send us an email, and we would love to look for, again, ways to continually update and improve the app.